It's time for a new Split the Difference. I'm your host, Jesse. Today we have the horror hope.
I am so out of my field for today's episode. It's not bad, but I was not expecting us to take this turn, I guess.
Yeah, I needed some variety in the list for the season. And we also
Fair.
have Pitchmaster General Seth.
Good to be here.
Yep. Today we are talking about films we typically don't talk about on these shows. We're talking about a pair of love films. Mare, a.k.a. Soiree, a South Korean film from 2000 directed by Lee Hyung-sung versus the 2006 remake called The Lake House directed by Alejandro Agresti. This is apparently his only English-speaking film, which is odd. We'll get into it. So at the top, like I said, we don't typically cover films like this. It's not. I don't think this is really any of our favorite genre. It's not our thing. That's fine. I mean, I just needed a little bit of variety.
You mean the horror doesn't love romance? What?
No. Didn't think so.
I feel like we've been like stepping towards this though. You built the season to like lead towards this because Vanilla Sky was very like rom-com drama kind of stuff, and so from there we're stepping down now into like the full like we're in the romance area. We're here. We're fully involved in romance.
We're in mom movie territory at this
Mom
point.
movie?
That's so funny you say that because my mom's the reason I saw the original Lake House.
Then I was about to say my mom never watched any of these kinds of movies ever, so she was right there in the seat next to me watching horror and action. So
yeah, this is the kind of thing that if you need a movie to watch with your mother, these will do it.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. So starting off, Il Mare, I really liked this movie. I actually genuinely liked it. I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. And it is for free on YouTube. It's not available for streaming anywhere. I've checked every streaming service. It's somebody uploaded it to YouTube and it just sits there. Watch it for free.
well,
It's on Freevee as well.
yeah. I
You
will
gotta watch
say
with
I
ads.
do like a good K-drama every once in a while, depending upon the K-drama. Obviously, not all of them, but I do like some of them. And this kind of reminded. I mean, it pretty much is a K-drama. So,
Oh yeah.
and so I did like it in the sense that there was more. I guess like it more because love in Asian culture isn't like as lovey-dovey as it is in America. And I'm very muted. I always have I cannot speak, Jesus Christ. In relationships I've always been like very muted with like my affection. Like PDA doesn't exist for me. You know, I'm not very like, oh, but like get me home behind closed doors. I'm a fucking ravenous animal and whatnot. But so I've grown up being very muted in that sense. So I like it better than the whole like heart on your sleeve American romance. Like, at least me personally.
I think we're hinting at how we feel about these movies. So yeah. Yeah.
Had you guys seen either of these before? Was this fresh
Nope.
watches for both of you?
Fresh watch.
Fresh watch.
Wow.
What,
Okay.
So you'd seen the Lake House,
right?
I had seen it in 2006, like as a high schooler. I think was the last time I watched it.
Well, that's like when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it had been a hot minute. It had been a hot minute. And like again, this is when I watched like passively with my mom. So I only half counted as a watch. I remembered 3 scenes like in detail. As I was rewatching, I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, I forgot most of this movie."
yeah, I mean, being a high schooler watching with your mom, you don't typically tend to retain every detail.
Right.
Yeah.
It's understandable.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get into the remake soon, but I want to talk about this original film. So
Yes.
one thing that Hope pointed out before we started, lead actor in Mare, it's the dude from Squid Game. I didn't even know. I didn't notice.
Lee Jun-jae.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get those hashtag clicks, right? Like, and what a jump too from a kind of kitsch K-drama into Squid Games. That's kind of excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No. Yep. So once I saw that, because I mean, goddamn, it's been 20 years between this movie when Squid Games came out. So obviously he looks, not that Asians like age all that much, but like he matured, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, I know that face. Where do I know that face? And I was like, and as like towards the very end, ironically enough, when he gets hit by the car and the blood comes out, that's when I realize who he is.
Oh, you had to link the violence in.
Oh yeah.
I linked the violence, and I was like, "Oh, it's Squid Games." Then I was like, "Oh gosh, yes."
That tracks.
It snaps you out of it. Like, oh, okay, there it is.
That's right. That's right.
I was like, "Oh, I'm back." I'm back in my element. Yay.
One thing I appreciate about both these films, they don't explain why it's happening. It's a time travel loop. Yeah, they never explain, like, why is one person talking to somebody else in 2 years prior? Like, it's never explained. I appreciate that.
That's not the read that I had taken from them. Like, it's not explained in like a sci-fi sense, but it's to me, it's the hand of fate. Like, the hand of fate works through the mailbox. It works through the dog. It works through like objects around people. In the first one, I'll say in the original,
it's a little more explicit in the remake. The dog disappearing. And I was like, oh, okay. All right.
We'll get into that. This is nice and clean. This is very much like, these two people need to meet, so fate is literally bending time and space to link them to each other.
Speaking of like objects around them, I'd also love to. I also want to say, Cola in the first movie, I thought that was the cutest damn fucking dog.
Oh my god! Right?
Oh yeah.
It was like so scraggly and everything at first, like so dingy and scraggly. I'm like, I need him so bad.
Not that the dog in the remake isn't cute. It's just
the dog
the one in
But I also think that Cola in the original has a bigger part too, much bigger part.
Oh yeah.
So you see more of the dog, so you can like bond more with the dog.
Right. Well, and the dog is the intermediary. Like, they both seem to understand that they're both touching the same pet. Yeah. And so, like, whenever they read the letters, they get the dog over to them to be like, okay, they were probably touching the dog as they wrote the letter. And, you know, like, it's a connective point. I love Cola. Jack looks like a junkyard dog, and that's, like, it's charming. And I love dogs, but nowhere near as cuddly and cute, right?
Yeah. I was waiting for either the dog to die or there be some kind of hint that it's a prequel to John Wick, and then that could kick in. Really.
Damn.
Wick. Or if it was a prequel to Speed, because both Sandy Bullock and Keanu are in Speed.
Oh god!
It's like magically they brought them together so they can both be on the bus at the same time to stop it from going over 55 miles an hour.
Wild.
That's a good movie. I'm just thinking about Speed. That's a good movie.
Damn, I'm taller.
God, so stupid. So one thing I also really love about the original, simple shot composition. There's nothing really flashy. There's like one flashy moment at the beginning where they're kind of spinning around with the mailbox. That one moment.
Really?
Then the rest of it's the original doesn't feel very flashy.
Well, maybe not flashy, but I thought that they had some really good, interesting camera work angles in there, honestly.
No, I mean, like nothing nothing super complex. It just lets the script do a lot of the work.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you guys feel about the transition of types of job for our main actresses? So we have Jun Ji-hoon, who played our Kim in the original, and then we have Sandra Bullock, who played our, Kate. like, how did you guys feel about the shift in jobs? Because in the original, we have Kim, who she's a voice actress. And also shout out to the little Easter egg cameo of Cardcaptor Sakura poster. No one else probably saw that, but I did. Yay. That was a big thing back in 2000.
Yeah.
But and then she's like magically a doctor in the remake. So like how did you guys feel about that leap in career change?
I prefer the original.
I like the way the original linked her voice acting into the recordings that get left behind for Sung-hyun. Like there's a reason why he would be so attracted to her voice, and it's because she's worked on it, but he's gotten to know like a real version of her. Yeah, that's super sweet. I really like that. Also, unique job. Like, thank you for giving us a little insight into the background of a unique job. Like, we all know what the fuck a hospital looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just there so she can see Keanu Reeves get killed outside the hospital because that's her job. And it's like, also, it's like she's a med student, so she's not really a doctor at this point. She's still going through med school at that point. So she's like, I never have time to see anybody. You're a med student. You never have time for anything.
She's a full-fledged doctor.
Is she a full-fledged doctor?
She's a med student in 98 whenever Keanu's timeline, because she hasn't graduated yet. In 2000, in her own timeline, she is a full-fledged doctor.
Yeah.
No, that's the remake takes place 2006, 2004.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's what I meant. In 2004.
But anyways.
In 2004, she's a resident. In 2006, she's a full-fledged doctor. Yeah.
In that case, it's still like, you clearly are not going to have time. So... So, I don't know. I just prefer the original. It just feels more like she's trying to disappear into being somebody else because her previous relationship collapsed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it feels like it's more tied into the character as opposed to just, she's just a doctor, so she's just busy.
Yeah.
So, not as interesting.
They're both kind of a mess at the beginning of the movie, right? They're both like really helter-skelter as far as figuring themselves out.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it just feels like she feels kind of well off in the remake, whereas in the original, she also has like a kind of a second job working at the comic book shop.
I think she does that mainly as like a favor to her friend, because she is very attached to her friend. Because in the remake, she had her mom, and in the original, she just had her best friend. So I think that was the big thing, and that's why. So she felt more at home with her friend at the comic shop, because she even like mentioned in one of the she even said, yeah, you may own this place, but I've read more of these books than you have. So
it's true. Yeah,
and it's probably because of her voice acting job.
Right.
Yeah. One other thing I want to point out, the difference in the music. I actually kind of like the music in the original film. I did not care for the music in the remake. It feels very just like standard stock. This is what you put into a romantic film. It's like it's
because K-drama is a huge thing. They take it very seriously over in South Korea. It's their staple. It's their bread and butter. You can ask anybody, oh, you know K-drama? And they're like, yeah, I know K-drama. And unfortunately, in America, a lot of romance we equate to like Hallmark. So it's like
you're getting into some of my points for the
Nicholas Sparks bullshit. Yeah,
like
crap.
Obviously, they always like kind of default. It's like, okay, we have a baseline. Let's default X, Y, and Z, and it's upsetting because I wouldn't mind like a good romance here and there, like. The other day, Jesse, you posted on Instagram because you're doing like a film challenge. It was like your favorite romance, and it's like Princess Bride. I 1,000% agree. I think that's an amazing love story.
Yeah.
If it's a film like that, but I hate this Hallmark shit. I really do.
Yeah, they always feel the same. Like most romantic films in America, they seem to be tied to religious elements.
Are you speaking out of work trauma, Jesse?
Yeah, I've worked on Christmas holiday romantic films before, and it sucks. They don't pay you very well, and they're sappy, they're bullshit, they're all the same. It's yeah.
I would say, I think, other than maybe like Princess Bride, the only other one that I would really enjoy is My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Oh, that one is so cute, but that's a comedy.
Yeah.
That's a
but
lot
it's still at the heart. It's still a romance. It's these two people getting together, loving each other, loving their families. So it's because that's original. It's an original script, not a fucking stock Hallmark shit.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's some good ones in America. When Harry Met Sally is pretty good,
Yeah,
the
I'm
80s really cranked
yeah,
out
I'm
a
not
lot
saying
of
that there isn't any, but I'm talking more like. Again, Seth just said the 80s. Like, I'm talking about when this film was made. The Lake House was made. It was 2006.
Right. Oh, yeah.
That's like peak fucking like.
It was like period romance or Hallmark shit. Like those were the two kinds of romance.
Yeah, it was like Pride and Prejudice or this. Like,
oh my god! And like, listen, I'm not knocking Pride and Prejudice. That shit's great, Mr. Darcy.
But what was that other bunch of what are those films that use star packing? What is it called? Was it Friends with Benefits?
Oh,
Natalie Portman.
Those holiday movies, like
no,
yeah,
Love Actually,
that
Love
bullshit.
Actually.
Yeah. Although I have issues with Love Actually. That movie comes off a little stalkerish sometimes. Andrew Lincoln stalking Keira Knightley. It's a little weird.
Though, so that's why I mentioned it.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. For those who don't know what star packing is, it's when you pack in a bunch of big name actors in order to try to carry your movie because the script's not that great. So it's like you see like their picture is on the poster, and it's like they sell the movie using their name.
They're also scheduling nightmares, which is why they look like shit, because you can't have like a
shoot
team
it quick,
dedicated
shoot
to
it
a vision.
fast.
Yeah, you got to get people in. You get them for like a couple days to shoot out a scene. You get maybe one scene with everybody at the end of shooting for your cast party at the same time. Like they look like dog shit.
Yep, they are not very good movies. As compared to this original film, Mare, which the original English translation of the title is Suare, I think is what it's how you pronounce it. Because it's so straightforward and so simple, it's not overly sappy. Like you're saying, they take this very seriously in South Korea.
Yes.
It's the opposite of the remake. It's very much the opposite.
Well, and like yearning is such a different thing in Asian cultures. It's so much quieter. It's so much more subtle. I just watched Whispers of the Heart recently on a plane ride, and like that whole movie's about two little kids who hate each other but really love each other. You know what I mean? Like it's they cover their feelings. It's cute. Isn't it great? Did you know that's where the fucking the anime vibes lo-fi girl came from? If you're ever on YouTube and looking, like, you'll see channels that have like 6-hour live streams of anime girl lo-fi music. And that screenshot that they use in those lo-fi things, that's just straight out of Whispers of the Heart.
Yep.
I was like, damn, Miyazaki just building culture 30 years before it even gets huge for everyone else. I love it.
Wow.
And it also ties into his other film, The Cat Returns.
Yep, Cat Returns, absolutely. Because you got to see what those adventures are like, you know what I mean? Like, they set up this awesome character in the background. The Baron. And that links us back into Princess Bride, because Carrie Elways does the voice of the Baron in the American version. Boom! It's all interlinked.
And he also does the American guy in Porco Rosso, which is also a romance movie.
That's right. That's right. I was a big fan of the digital filmmaking in Il Mare. Like, this is... I think Korean cinema really adopted digital filmmaking quickly because it cheapened the process so much that it made filmmaking really accessible to people with great ideas like this. Like, this is a functionally... the plot of this movie is so functionally perfect. It is just two characters out of time sink a little bit. You can wrap your head around it because you can wrap your head around 2 years of your own life, but then you can also think about how much you've changed in the last 2 years. Like it really works well. And so I think their choice to go digital matched. Like it really allowed for that kind of quick, clean filmmaking to tell their story. I really dug it. I'm not usually a big fan of digital movies, but this feels like it really worked for them.
They're also huge in tech over there. Like,
that's true.
That Samsung
this
is
is where they're
from
building
Korea.
all that shit.
Yeah.
Like all that shit, all that tech is from Korea. Like you can't find an electronic unless that doesn't have the Korean stamp on it. Like,
right.
I mean, they care about their tech. They have the highest speed internet on the planet. Like they really care about the technology of their nation.
Technology and skincare.
Yeah. That's why so many people in K-pop bands look like models. It's like,
oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I use some of the Korean skincare products. Oh, it's so nice.
Oh, I bet.
I go to Latte
not
Market.
filled
I'm
with-
like, stock that bitch up. Come on.
It's not filled with toxins and shit that would kill you in about 10 years. Yeah.
So for you guys, what was the like scene in Il Mare where you kind of really bought into the romance? What's the like? I feel like in a romance movie, they have to win you over. You have to at some point start rooting for this relationship. At what point did it get you guys to start rooting for them?
The voice recorder scene where he picks it up and listens, and he like falls in love with her as he's listening, and then he gives it back to her saying, I hope this finds you safely. I fell in love with your, basically saying, I fell in love with your voice. I hope this finds you safely. I'm glad I could get it for you. And I was like,
Same for me.
Yeah. The earmuffs is a close second for me.
Yes.
Just him willing to laugh at his oafishness for a second is just so cute. That at that point I was like, all right, I think this guy, he should get with the girl. Okay, I'm convinced he's gonna be all right. That's where I kind of bought in.
Yeah, it feels more genuine than the remake does. It feels more like, okay, these two people are meant to be together, even though they're separated by 2 years. It's the scene where he finds her at the train station and puts on the earmuffs. I mean, the scene that you were just mentioning. Like, you just like, is he going to talk to her? Is he not going to talk to her? It's like, it does bring up questions of the time aspect. If you really think about the time travel, it really doesn't make sense, because him changing things does affect the way in which the time passes.
So
it makes enough sense.
Yeah, this is what we call the grandfather paradox, or the bootstrap paradox in time travel, where like in her timeline he wouldn't have known he was doing these things because he hadn't experienced it yet, but then he must have done that for her to get that recorder in the future. So it's kind of like it necessitates itself, and that's why I say you see the working hand of fate here, because and I'm being very specific, in this movie, in El Mare,
yes,
it never gets to the point where you can't reasonably go, oh yeah, I guess she wouldn't remember just seeing a face in a crowd. You know, he knows it's important, but she wouldn't know it was important. So like, they make sure there's a little contrivance in every single instance where the time travel could get wonky. It goes, but they didn't quite meet yet, and so like nothing really happened. When we get to the remake, I have some issues to air, but in this movie, I think to your point, Jesse, I think how do you feel? Do you think those contrivances pay off? Like, are you believing them as they happen?
I believe it a lot better. It's as long as it's not overly explained. Like, the closest they get to an explanation of any kind is when his father goes to the house and kind of like touches the mailbox very, very lovingly. Like, there's something there. Like, I don't know what it is, but did he build it to do that? I don't know.
I think it
right. Yeah,
it's like, that's because later on they said that's how he showed his love, was through this house that he built for his son, and like he's like, well, I can't love him, so maybe he can find love through this house. I don't know.
Infused with meaning. Yeah.
It's enough to get you on board with the premise.
I'll put it this way: in movies that are about love transcending time, you have Interstellar and you have this movie, and I feel like this movie is like, okay, it's just this little pocket inside of a mailbox where this is happening.
Yeah, it's not going through a black hole to get to another end of the galaxy so that you could find a way to save the human race, and there's still this love story. But there's a love story with Anne Hathaway with another person we've never met in the movie. It's too big.
About that.
Too big. Yeah.
This is our preamble into. We're gonna make these exact noises talking about the remake.
Yeah, I'm not quite there yet. I want to make one more note. I like the house in the original film more than the remake.
I like that it's all the same house in the original. Some of the interior shots of the lake house are like not the lake house.
Oh god.
No.
It's
clearly a set.
Cinematography was not their strong suit. No, yeah,
it's clearly a set.
I love that design, and I love that beach that it's on too. It's so like stark and empty and naked to represent the absence of love in his life, and the stairs lead to nowhere, and oh my god, and then they end up leading to and the fish. I forgot to mention the fish earlier. Fate works through the fish as well. I agree.
I did have one issue with that fish.
Oh, is it a saltwater fish or is it a freshwater fish?
Oh, and did he motherfucking kill that goddamn fish when he put it in the sea?
Yep.
That was my only thing. I was like, did he just kill this fucking fish? Because he had
I don't think he knew that that's actually a freshwater fish.
There were no animals harmed in the making of this film.
I know.
We hope.
That was my only. It had nothing to do with the movie. It was just, you had that in a bathtub. Then you put it in the sea. Is the fish
so if it
dead?
was in a bathtub,
did you just
if it was in a bathtub,
where's
he taking a shower? Where is he showering?
I guess he would just scoop it out then, right?
I don't know. Aquariums are expensive.
Yeah.
True.
That's true.
Very true.
But I was just like, that was my only, like, my big thing was that stupid, like, he just killed that fish. Does it mean he just killed his love? Does it mean his love is dead? Or are they just dumb and didn't realize it's a fresh to salt water?
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
I was just smidgenly overthinking that part a little bit.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Last thing with regarding Il Mare. I think the ending is appropriate, but it's not sappy.
Oh,
like they never it's left ambiguous as to what's going to happen. It's like he could tell her the whole story, and she would just be like, "Get the fuck away from me! You're a crazy person."
Right.
You don't know. You don't know what happens. It's left ambiguous. I like that.
I have a long story to tell you. Oh my god. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and then she quietly dials 911 off to the side. It's like, there's a crazy man at my house that says he's been messaging me from 2 years in the past. Oh, God.
This is some Sarah Connors level craziness. Terminator 2. Lock him up. How does he know the future? It's funny. The ending of this movie reminded me a lot of the ending of Your Name. Do you remember that anime we watched a couple years back?
Oh, yeah.
Similar plot, too, of body switching instead. But they were time displaced as well in that movie.
They were.
Yeah, it's generally the same story.
It was a time displacement. So. Because, like, even though it would have, like, the same times on their cell phones, it was different days. So.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it gave me a lot of that. It gave me a lot of the, like, they didn't need to beat it into our heads, the happily ever after. We can just kind of imagine, like, they've got this opportunity now. And the rest of the movie's been about them taking or missing opportunities, right? Relationships are about the opportunities you take or miss. So I think it fits. Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't call it sappy. I think if you go inside the house and we see them like kissing and holding each other, and like if you end on that, then it's like, oh, okay, I get it. They stopped at exactly the right point. I think they stopped right at the end.
And again,
did they live happily ever after?
Yeah, that's K-drama. They're never overly like physical with their love. That's a very American thing. Like in Asian cultures, it's very subdued. Like once people are behind closed doors, like they'll be very affectionate, but like it leads up to that. That's why they have certain things like white, like in Japan they have White Day. Instead of like Valentine's Day where the girls will make chocolate and give it to the boys, and that's what shows them their love.
Yeah.
And it gives an opportunity to show, hey, I do like you. You don't even have to be girlfriend, boyfriend. It's just an opportunity to be like, hey, I have feelings for you. Take my chocolate,
Yeah.
And it gives you like confidence to do that. And that's how they show affection, is like through foods and doing things, not like, hey, let's go fuck in the corner.
Right.
Jeez. I feel like we're chomping at the bit to get to the remake.
Hey, listen, you're the host. You pick. Do you have anything else to say about El Mare?
I'm pretty happy with it. I think that I would genuinely watch it again.
Totally.
I would watch it again.
Totally.
More cola.
More cola. I would not watch the remake again. So you're the only one that saw this previously, Seth. How did your feelings on it change seeing it now?
If at all.
I remember
if at all.
This is such a unique point for us to get to land on. So 2006 is when I started high school, and it was about that time that I get introduced to basically the World Wide Web and the fact that I could download any movie that I wanted. So that is the mark of the beginning of my film journey to me. Is high school, getting access to all these movies. I ran through Bruce Willis's entire filmography. I blew through all the action movies I had missed. So at this point, I'm curious about movies, and I watched this movie with my mom, and I remember watching the first half going, this is a cool fucking premise. I like these characters, the chemistry's here, the actors are cool, like I'm thinking about it, and then I remember the back half of the movie confusing the fuck out of me, and it just being like, oh, okay, I guess this is all about the feelings now, like we don't care about this plot device anymore, and it just kind of loses itself in some of the messiness, and rewatching it, goddamn, I get it now, I understand what happened. They packed a bunch of shit into this movie. How are these movies exactly the same length, but the lake house feels 30 minutes longer? Like, I'm not kidding. It feels 30 minutes longer.
Dude, it really did. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening?
I think mainly the problem is that the pacing feels weird because there's the whole Christopher Plummer as Keanu Reeves' dad thing, which I love seeing Christopher Plummer in movies. Rest in peace, Christopher Plummer. But it doesn't feel like it adds anything to the film. It feels like a distraction.
Yeah.
That's like packing in extra scenes because they took out stuff from the original film where she puts her what was it?
Not a beret, but like the headband.
No,
the
headband. Thank you. Yeah, she puts a headband into the mailbox, and then he
puts the
picks
gloves,
it out,
and then he
the little things like that. Like he gets a scarf out of the mailbox, but you never see her put it in. So it's like they swapped out scenes that they thought weren't important, but it establishes more character connection in the original movie, and it just like Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, they have perfect chemistry. They're great, but
well, because they actually did like each other, and they didn't admit it to each other for the longest
time.
Yeah,
they genuinely like each other, and it feels like they actually are invested. Like, I think the big issue with the movie is that the first half is overall, I think, fine.
Yeah.
Sappy as fuck, but fine.
Yeah.
The back half, they start talking to each other as if they're in the same room. And it's weird.
That's a big the editing difference. I love the way Mare edits its scenes to like evoke the idea that they're walking through even having them walk through the same shot at one point, but like it's still evoking the idea that they're not there at the same time. Whereas the lake house is like, we need to show their chemistry more, so we have to like put them into scenes together as often as we can.
Yeah, it feels weird.
Well, and the fact that like what throws me off a bit too is obviously he went back. He was there for her birthday, and they made out. But she can't recognize his face when he gets hit by a car.
Yep.
I guess it really fucked up his face, man.
I guess.
Who else called that it was Keanu Reeves that gets hit by the truck in the movie?
Okay.
Immediately.
So I remember watching it the first time, and when that happened, my mom being like, "Oh my God, it's Keanu Reeves." So on my rewatch, I remembered that was what was going to happen, and so I look at the body and I was like, "That looks like Keanu Reeves." Like, did they just they just shot him as a body for this scene? That's kind of cool. Like, they just face down Keanu Reeves at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it's weird. It's also, there's another plot element that doesn't work in that she looks up Keanu Reeves' father's file, his death certificate. It's like, if he's already dead at the same time, his death certificate would be right next to his dad's, alphabetically. So why did she not notice?
Because he might not have been at the same hospital.
It was right outside of hers.
Yeah. He would have been taken inside to there because it was the two doctors outside, or the doctor and the mom.
Yeah.
Well, no, but she was at a different location. I think it was her day off. I don't know. Maybe that would be the only thing.
Like the rest of the movie, it's very unclear where everybody is supposed to be at any given time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I don't hate it. It's just it's if your mom can't stand subtitles, this is a nice substitute. That's the way I put it. It's a mom movie, and then Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, they're charming. I mean, the scene of the two of them together, that one take where they're talking to each other, is great. Yeah, I just wish it was in a better movie.
They have, like you said before, they have amazing chemistry. I love them both. They're great actors. It's just, I'd rather watch Speed again instead of.
Yeah. Yeah. I watched it again recently, and just on one of my days off when I was my giant glut of work, I was like, I want to rewatch Speed. Man, that's a good movie. Yeah, and that's also a tight 90 as well. That is quick.
They packed shit into that movie.
Yeah.
I've got so the movie expects me to believe that Sandra Bullock is the dumbest person alive. That's where it dumped me off, because I can understand missing somebody's face, like even if she had like briefly met him at that birthday party, if the scene hadn't then played out with them literally falling in love with each other in a single dance and kiss, and then she just forgets about him. Like, they bring him up later when she's on her date with the second date with the doctor, like later on in the future, and he brings up the kiss and she like brushes it off. It's as if it wasn't like the man she's communicating through time with.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just some dude.
So she forgot? What?
I have no explanation.
And then after that, she's like, oh, revelation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She it acts like it's this big reveal, and it's like this man picked up what you described to be the most important book in your life, picked it up at the train station, held it up, and you waved at him. Right? So you saw him there, then you see him later at a party, at which point you would have been like, oh my God, you picked up that book, right? Like, maybe she misses that one. But definitely not when he mentions it later by name, and she goes, oh, that's so weird that you're saying it right now. It's like, yeah, motherfucker, that's the guy that held the book up to remind you.
Yeah. It also seems weird that he didn't just give it back to her through the mailbox.
Right. Oh my God.
She finds it in the floorboards of the apartment she moved into, because that got renovated by her brother and his company. Why? How did he know she was gonna like smack into the floorboards to dig out the book?
Yeah. No. Yeah. The movie. Okay. So
the contrived is being nice.
And like I said in the last one, fate using contrivances is cute, right? But you can't,
to an extent,
introduce all this extra. Like, Christopher Plummer is here so that he can be an architect, like getting the generational trauma from his dad, right?
Yeah.
That he has to work his way through, so that his brother can also be introduced as a character. And then we need to even out the cast. So then Sandra Bullock needs a doctor and a mom to talk to and a boyfriend that's going to pop up a bunch throughout. And so like they add all this extra shit to help explain things that you don't need to explain at the end of the day.
Yeah, this is the perfect example of what I would have preferred a clone movie.
Yeah.
You can't, there's nothing you can add or take away. You can't change that much because it's like, it's perfectly constructed in the original version.
Okay.
But they pack in all this extra stuff.
Yeah.
I will say one thing now that we're talking about this. One thing I did not like about Mare. The fact that she got hit by a car and then just brushed it off and then nothing ever happened of that.
I think the movie is. So I had to read the Wikipedia after too because I didn't quite follow that. I think the movie overemphasizes that meeting. Like she would have just seen it as like a quick accident and not somebody she would have connected to.
Yeah.
That's the way I think the Wikipedia kind of like it explains that she witnesses an accident and then doesn't really connect him into that as much. Whereas the lake house makes it like the unhingent moment.
Maybe. I don't know. It just seemed very out of place to me. Like all the rest of the water was great. It was just that one scene. I'm like, okay, she got hit by a car. She flew, and then she's fine.
When she got hit by the car. Okay, I misunderstood. I thought you were talking about when he got hit by the car.
No, when she got hit by the car.
She got hit by the car
okay. I misunderstood. Okay, now I understand.
When she got hit by the car, that was to take her out of communication with him to send him into his spiral. That's why that happened. It was like
I get that, but it was so quick, and she didn't even have like a scrape or a scratch or anything.
Oh,
she just shows up
no,
in the
yeah,
next
like
scene,
a very like soap opera car crash.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100% I'm with you there. Not very well
right. It'd be one thing if maybe she showed back to the house with like a cast or something or a sling, but she was T-boned by a car, and she's like, "Oh well, I'm back. It's fine."
Right.
That was.
I'm just a little fuzzy and have forgotten a few things.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I get why they did it, but I'm just like, I don't know. Whatever.
No. I'm with you. I think if it's the lesser of two evils, I think of the two. I prefer
for sure.
that like kind of soap opera-iness over them making out in her backyard and then her forgetting that he exists.
I mean, it's a good scene in isolation. It's just...
Oh, yeah, dude. I think the filmmaking language is overall better in the lake house. Like, its ability to charge a moment with like, meaning and passion. It definitely executes in a vacuum better. I agree.
Yeah. It just comes off a little stalkerish with Keanu Reeves there at her birthday, even though he just met these people.
And he basically invited himself to the party, too.
Well, I mean, the boyfriend did say, like, "Yeah, why don't you come on by?" It's like, yes, a random person you've never met.
Right. Because...
He's just a neighbor.
And the fact that he's like, "Oh, can I help you bring that in?" Like, no, go away. You got your dog. Go.
Yeah, like, you don't know this person.
I would never in a million years. I don't care how cute the dog is.
This is like Alex Kurtzman level of contrivance for fate. It's really bad.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, it's really, really bad. It's there for the sake of the plot to get them from one scene to the next. It's like, how do you have almost the exact same movie and there's so much that's just same but different in a worse way?
2 words, buddy. Studio notes. This shit ain't romantic enough. Literally, the entire scene in the backyard that we're talking about, right? Like they needed a scene in the middle of the movie with Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves being romantic on screen together. That was I can feel that as like okay, but then how do I like explain this to the audience? It doesn't matter. We just need. This movie is 99 minutes long, and there are 4 minutes of Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock kissing. This movie is 4% making out. Like, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
And they're not even
you're
supposed to, like, know each other, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's studio notes, 100%. It's studio notes. We need to get them into more rooms together. We need the movie to be more romantic. They need to kiss in the middle of it and at the end of it because there's like an arc. You know what I mean? I can see the graphs getting laid out, audience retention rates. This is movie math to invent shit, and then I can see a working director just going, I got to make this make sense somehow, and so you just get these like oddly contrived. Some of the takes in this movie are so awkward.
Yeah.
There's one in particular where Keanu Reeves and his brother are talking to each other, and he's like describing Sandra Bullock as this woman that he loves, right? And some of the takes that they used in that are so stilted and off in the conversation. Like, did you guys notice that? Sometimes the things they would be saying to each other are like, what are you trying to communicate? Like, what? We need to move to the next line.
Yeah, I mean,
the whole brother thing was also very off.
Slapped in.
Yeah, I liked it better that it was just like college friends, and they were like doing this in honor of their friend, instead of like a whole in memoriam from his brother.
Yeah.
As much as I love seeing Richie from The Bear show up, I don't think he's really necessary here. So
No, I wouldn't call him necessary, and he's good. Yeah. Like he and Keanu have good like brother chemistry together when their lines are working.
Yeah. And I made a mistake. I did mention that this film, The Lake House, is only Alejandro Agresti. This is only English film. He's actually done a couple English films, but he's been working since like the 1970s.
Yeah. Yep.
And then after this, he takes a 7-year break. It's like, maybe the reviews were not that good. This is like a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think that's about what it earned. It's 35%. Wow, it's even lower. Wow. Last time I checked, it was 40.
People keep revisiting and not liking it.
Yeah,
like us.
It really is. Yeah, like us. It's not the worst movie ever made. It's just when you compare it to the original, it's just so much better. The original feels like it has a much more interesting story to tell. The characters feel more genuine in the original, and it just. There was one moment that did make me laugh. It's the moment when Alex and Kate are in the backyard before their makeout scene, and Alex asks Kate if she can sing, and she says, "No one will want to hear me sing." I think that's a reference to a film that Keanu Reeves and Charlize Theron did like 5 years earlier called Sweet November, where Keanu Reeves sings, and he's terrible.
Oh my god!
Oh, it's so bad. It's a terrible movie. It's like a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. Don't watch it. It's really bad. But yeah, like Keanu Reeves, you're a great bass player. You're not a vocalist. You're really not. But yeah, I think that was the one thing that made me laugh in the remake, and it's just, I don't know what else I can say to convince people. Like the ending, they of course get together and they kiss and they walk into the lake house. But by the way, the house is way too big in the remake. It's just glass everywhere.
Oh yeah, it's an architect's wet dream. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, with a tree right in the middle of it. It's like, oh god damn it.
So what nature
it's
just
just so much work
with this and
Yeah, get synergy
just so much
with all the glass and the house.
That's so much work having like a tree right in the middle of your house. Yeah, it's just ugh. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this remake. Not a fan.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It was a trudge to get through. It was kind of a.
I stopped twice because I had to take a break. I was like, yeah, this is boring.
So some of the
if
added
anybody
stuff
cries
also.
at this movie, it's because it just keeps on going.
Oh my god! Yeah. Right? Yeah. There are certain points where it literally, like, it could end shortly after him being in the accident, but it's still got a little ways to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a scene. So Mona, Alex's like assistant, that gets added in, that's in love with him.
Oh yeah, she just disappears from the movie.
Yeah,
that was
because
also so cringe too. Like I felt so bad for her.
It was giving me like Vanilla Skies vibes, in that like, they just needed to insert that. Oh yeah, like if Keanu Reeves wanted to, he could fuck. Like the women are just dying to be with it. Like it really needed to enforce that into the movie.
Yeah.
It's like the man's an architect, manager, like in management, living on a lake house. Yeah, he's probably an attractive bachelor. You don't have to convince me.
Yeah. They gave these two people professions where they don't have time for personal lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How yuppie of them.
Yeah, how upper class of you. It just I just don't. I think this is kind of the beginning of the decline for Keanu Reeves at this point. Because Sandra Bullock went off to do like little films here and there. She's consistent. She does a lot of crap, but she does a lot of good stuff too. But whereas there's a big like drop in quality for him around this time.
Oh yeah, he fell off through the early 2000s. I think people didn't know what to do with him. The Matrix was too huge. Yeah.
Yeah. Same year as this, The Scanner Darkly comes out, and that's I think the last like really good thing he was in. After this, he's in like Street Kings. Not a great movie.
Yeah, his directive video era starts around then, before John Wick pops back up.
Day the Earth Stood Still, the remake of that, which by the way will never ever be on Split the Difference because there's nothing to talk about.
What? What?
Bro. Dude, it's nothing but CGI bukkake all over the place, dude. There's nothing to talk about.
So there's one thing to talk about is like how not.
So
to
we're gonna
remake
save
a
the
black
world.
Okay, first of all, it gives us an excuse to talk about a dope ass black and white movie. So that's half the episode I'm happy about right there.
All right.
Well, it wasn't. He didn't do too much though in between like that and he it was 2006.
He directed
basically,
he directed The Man of Tai Chi, which is pretty good.
Yeah. 47 Ronin was it was okay.
Oh, okay. We have to talk about 47 Ronin for a second.
So
the dude that directed
You're welcome for your segue, Jesse.
So the dude that did that,
you're welcome.
He took what was it, $11 million from his Netflix movie that he was supposed to do, and he just put it into fucking Bitcoin and lost it all.
How?
How do you get access to $11 million?
Okay, first of all, how does that get approved? When you get a budget, you have to run it by the line producer and the studio. Yeah, you have to come back with receipts for what you're buying with your budget. And so somebody must have been approving millions of dollars worth of crypto purchases, or he was fucking faking that shit. Either way, that's weird, right? Very weird. Jesus.
Dude,
I love how this comes out like after people are coming out about how much of a scam crypto has been. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like crypto and NFTs, the scam of the 21st century.
Finding people with a bored ape on Twitter right now is like finding a shiny Pokemon. It's like you just immediately get to go bully them and be like, "Dog, this did not work out for you, did it?"
I mean, it's the same shit as like any kind of like collector's item. It's worth whatever you're willing to pay for it. Like Beanie Babies, like or Magic the Gathering cards. Like what was it? Like there's like $1 million card or something like that.
So strong.
I don't get it.
Magic
I
the
don't
Gathering
care for Magic.
Strong, dude. There's tournaments in Vegas. My friend just went to like a tournament in Vegas, and
yeah.
I don't get it.
I go to
international appeal is a big part of it.
I don't know. When people try to tell me the rules of card games, my eyes just glaze over. I'm just like, none of this is processing in my brain, dude. So just,
I have a rule whenever people ask me if I want to play a new board game, I say yes. And then they have a 5-minute internal timer that if I'm not getting the full gist of the game within that first 5 minutes, my yes turns into a no. And I go, actually, hey, I've changed my mind. This is too much. Sorry.
Yeah. It needs to be quick.
Yeah.
That's the point of a game.
Like, I get games need to have mechanics. I think some games are learn mechanics for fun. And that's not my kind of game. That's not my jam.
Yeah.
Same with Dungeons and Dragons for me. I don't care. Like, it takes a whole day to build your character. I just want to play the game, dude.
Speaking of mechanics that didn't get played with. Yeah, no, that's true. Speaking of things that mechanics that didn't get played with, if I was in a lake house situation, I would have made so much fucking money. Are you kidding me? Are you joking right now? That is the perfect way to make money.
Rent it out?
Dude, no. Off of having her send me stock information for the future. Are you joking? I could bet on every Super Bowl. I could bet on every FIFA game. I would be so goddamn rich. And then when we meet back up in 2 years, it's like, hey, baby, I'm a multi-billionaire. Let's get married.
Look, Back to the Future Part 2. Let's just admit that neither of these characters had ever seen it, okay?
That's they worked so hard, they've just never seen movies. So when they're put into a situation with time travel, they don't even think about what to do with it.
So that's why they have their yuppie upper class jobs. They don't have time to watch movies.
God damn it, Jesse. You just retroactively made the lake house better.
Oh, damn it. God.
You mean,
man.
Or if they just threw in like, so we seen that movie, The Matrix?
Oh my God. Yeah, they wouldn't get those references.
I mean, they kind of did that with Matrix Resurrections. Man, you're going back to the Matrix. Like, fuck you.
Just so we can have that line in the trailer.
So wait, you're telling me that this guy is like, he looks like that guy from the Matrix? Oh, why didn't you get that?
Why didn't they do that with Matrix Resurrections? Like, is Keanu Reeves playing Keanu Reeves, and then it's revealed, oh no, you're actually Neo from the Matrix. Why did they do that?
It doesn't fit the metaphor they're going for, I guess.
Like a game is going to make it better.
Whatever.
Doesn't matter. We're way off topic now. It's like, so yeah, there it is. I mean, the Lake House, not worth your time. If you can, if your mom needs a movie that they've never seen before, like, oh, the Keanu Reeves movie with Sandra Bullock, yeah, give this to your mom. But if you want like a genuinely good love story, like watch El Mare.
Yeah. Here,
Yes.
my take. The Lake House is fan cam fodder. Great if you need to fan cam Sandra Bullock or Keanu Reeves. You'll get excellent. There's a shot where Sandra Bullock, while she's hugging Keanu Reeves, is smiling and then turns in and just kisses him on the shoulder before she leans up to kiss him. It is the sweetest thing that you could commit to film. But those moments are like just visual. There's no story to latch on to here, folks. It's a pretty movie. It's a well acted movie.
Yeah. Just nothing in it.
Just nothing to latch on to.
Yeah. Also, I want to note that the poster for the Lake House and the poster for Sweet November, they look exactly the same.
Oh, I bet. Oh, this was like a format back then.
Yeah, the floating heads in a white void. It's
been taken over by small rectangle, big rectangle of the title, even bigger rectangle of the rest of the poster. That's the new drama layout. It's ugly.
Yeah.
Well, or I just saw like a meme the other day where it did like the new live action. It was like the Aladdin, Star Wars, and like another film, and they're like, I watched all these things and I'm so lost in this trilogy.
Dark Phoenix.
Oh,
this trilogy makes no goddamn sense.
This trilogy's all over the place.
Phoenix. The teal and orange.
Oh my god.
The way to make everybody be attracted to your poster. It's like, for action movies, it's now the kind of like swipe look. It's the swipe. Everything kind of goes upwards. That's the look for action movies now.
Yep.
Yeah. Fury Road had that. Ant-Man 3 did that. Like that's the format for your action movie now. So, anyways, so yeah, there it is. Il Mare is great. Lake House,
kind of a
not
snoozer.
Snoozer. So, anyways, our next episode, we're talking about World on a Wire versus the 13th Floor. So, getting into Rainer Werner Fassbinder films. I think it's 3.5 hours. So, empty your bladders.
Oh boy,
why you do
it's
this?
gonna be a big
me?
week.
Sorry. And the remake is only like, I think, 90 minutes.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well,
It's not. Well, I think the remake actually was written by Roland Emmerich, I want to say.
oh no.
The 13th Floor, directed by Joseph Rusnak. Let's see here. Oh no, he wasn't involved. Never mind.
Okay.
Not sure what I was thinking of.
I was about to
At
get
least
scared. It sounds like not a clone movie though. If we've cut about half of the content.
Oh no, produced by Roland Emmerich through his Centropolis Entertainment Company.
There you go. Okay. And we know
Yeah.
him. He's got an eye for quality.
Oh yeah.
Oy vey.
Sorry. So we'll cover that in 2 weeks. We're getting close to the end of the season.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts before we sign off?
I don't think so. No, yeah.
Love.
I'm glad these characters all got together.
Yeah. At least there's that. And with that, good night.
Good night.
Good night.